Iowa's just a different program amongst the ex-Big Ten West schools and amongst a lot of not just the Big Ten, but the Power Four at large. Iowa did something that only the schools at the top can really say that they do on a consistent basis. Reload. Iowa did this in 2025. You might be laughing at me, but think about it this way. They returned only 57% of their 2024 production this year. And in ESPN's game control metrics, Iowa this year is 18th. Last year, Iowa was 29th. In FPI, Iowa last year was 22nd with an 11.5 rating. They have a 14.6 rating, and they are 20th this year. In efficiency this year, Iowa is 17th with a 78.5 rating. Last year, they were 27th with a 69.9 rating. Iowa returned a little over half of its roster, and they didn't just reload, they got better. That is something that I think very few teams this year, even at the top, can say. We'll have to wait until the end of the year to know whether or not Oregon and or Ohio State got better despite all they lost last year. It'll be the same thing with Georgia. It will be the same thing with Alabama, though Alabama returned more production than Iowa did. The only other school in the Big Ten that I can confidently say lost close to half of their production and got better besides Iowa are twofold. Actually, threefold now that I think about it. Washington lost a ton, got better, but they're in year two compared to year one. You sort of expect that, especially with the quarterback situation. USC and Indiana, that was not quite as expected. Not quite, especially with Indiana. Iowa is in rarefied air, and that speaks to their program. It speaks to where they focus their resources into. A lot of that has to do with line of scrimmage play. Their offensive and defensive lines excelled this year. Iowa was among one of the top schools in America in yards per carry and in rushing success rate. For much of the year, they were hovering around 5. Right now, they're only averaging 4.9 yards per carry, which is 64th. Might not sound amazing, but a lot of that's because they're not very explosive there. But what they are good at is consistently getting those 3, 4, 5-yard carries. They have a 46.3% rushing success rate, which is 12th, and their havoc rate allowed, which havoc plays are TFLs, sacks, interceptions. A lot of it has to do with line of scrimmage play. This channel will make you a college football expert and help you enjoy watching games and make more accurate predictions. So what are you waiting for? Like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, comment your thoughts, and watch the video all the way through so that you can get the full package. And check the description and pinned comment for more ways to help yourself and this channel. Iowa is second in the Big Ten, only behind Oregon in havoc rate allowed. They're ahead of Ohio State. They're ahead of Michigan. The only Power 4 schools they're behind are Oregon and Alabama, who have some of the most talented offensive lines in America. Defensively, Iowa only allows a grand... Let me find it here. It's going to take me a minute. Sorry, live research, people, but they are top 25 in yards allowed per carry, only allowing 4.32. Whether it is Trevor Locke, whether it's Jennings Dunker, whether it is Logan Jones, their center, Leighton Jones, other players on the offensive line, and then you have, Jonah Pace, you have Aaron Graves on the D-line, on that interior, Max Llewellyn, Ethan Herkett. Their line of scrimmage play it's top-notch. The offense, it improved from last year to this year, and I can say that because their strength of schedule is tougher, and yet they're averaging a little bit more than one additional point per game. Last year, their losses came to, UCLA on the road, Michigan State on the road, Iowa State on the road, and Ohio State on the road. This year, they came to Oregon at home, Indiana at home, Iowa State on the road. Last year's Iowa State loss was at home. And they also lost to USC on the road. They had a tougher 4-game They had a tougher 4-game conglomerate of teams this year than they did last year. And that is where who you are is really tested. And in those games this year, I thought Iowa did a better job offensively than they did last year, despite not having Caleb Johnson. The defense was superior too, allowing about 0.05 fewer points per play, and those add up over time. Iowa's defense for much of this year has been in that top 10 area after having a pretty shaky start. The months of October and November have been fantastic for Phil Parker and his unit. And where I want to close this off with is after that Nebraska game where they kicked Nebraska's butt. They grabbed Nebraska's spine and just tore it out of their body. It was the largest win over Nebraska since 2017 in the final year of Mike Riley. Can Iowa, with the offensive upgrades, with the defense reloading, with the fact that time and time again they've showed that they can reload, if they continue to improve on offense and use the portal and are active there, and Kirk Ferentz has actually been pretty active in the portal with quarterbacks, he's used it with some defensive linemen to some success, and I imagine they might be more active this year. We'll see. He's even used it with offensive line depth. Can Iowa take that next step as a program and potentially go from consistently winning 8 games and sometimes 9 or 10 to more consistently winning 9 or 10 games and being a playoff threat every other year? Or every year they get a fairly doable schedule? Or even when they have a schedule like this year, which is super tough, and they're still only, a combined 2 touchdowns away from being 11-1 or 10-0 and being in the playoffs. Let me know what you think, because I would love your thoughts there. I'm at a point where I think, depending on what moves they make yearly in the portal and at quarterback, and if they can develop at quarterback, they have a nice 4-star coming in this 2026 recruiting class where they nearly had as many blue chip players as 3 stars. I believe that Iowa could level up as a program and continue to evolve and adapt and potentially reach new heights that they have not seen in a while, which would be wild given many thought that leaving the Big Ten West would hurt Iowa. But what if it pushes Iowa to achieve bigger and better things and helps it level up as a program? Thank you for watching. It's my mission on College Football with Sam to make you the most informed, knowledgeable, and entertained fan as possible. We aren't perfect, but we hit the nail on the head more often than we hit our thumb with the hammer. Make sure to like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, comment, and if you're here, you've probably already watched the whole video. So thank you for doing those things.